me long time to connect. Anyways, let's continue. So in the last class, we have started this chapter journal entry, right? And when we started this, we talked about, first of all, we discussed the meaning of the journal. If you're able to recall, we talked about the meaning of the journal, wherein I've told you that journal is a book in which transactions are recorded in order in which they entered, or you can simply say journal is a book of account that record the transaction, that record all business transaction in the chronological order. That means every transactions are recorded in the journal, irrespective of whether such transaction is small or large. So irrespective of the amount of transaction, every transaction is recorded in the journal on in the chronological order. That means date wise. Then I've told you that this is also known as the book of original entry, right? And apart from this, we discussed the features, various features of the journal. One of the feature was that it records the day-to-day transaction. Then it records both the aspect of a particular transaction. The process of recording the transaction in the journal is called journalizing, and the way we record the transaction, that is called journal entry. And it gives you complete detail of any transaction. Then we have seen the format of the journal. This is the format of the journal. Then we uh, understood how do we actually pass journal entry by covering few examples. So we have covered around 8-9 example to understand how journal entry is done. So I hope the things that we discussed in the previous class is clear to all of you. If it is, please let me know. Otherwise, if you have any doubt, we will be covering those doubts first, and then we will move to the questions. Clear? Is it clear, everybody? Everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. So let's start with this question. I think I've given you this question for homework, if I'm not wrong. So just tell me whether you were able to completely solve this question or not. Completed this question, everyone?
We did it, but I'm not sure whether the answer is correct or not.
Okay. All right. Anyways, let me do the journal entry for all these transactions one by one. Just give me a moment. Let me just open my notepad. All right. So now let's first of all record the first transaction. The first transaction have taken place on 1st of April. Ramesh started business with cash. Okay, so this has to be recorded. So on 1st of April, if Ramesh is starting a business, the general entry for this will be, tell me the general entry for this. Cash account debit. Cash account will
Sir,
be debited to capital
capital accounts.
capital account. That's correct.
And sir, the amount will be 1 lakh.
Amount is 1 lakh. Okay.
Yeah, in the debit side and also in the credit side.
So on the debit side, we have 1 lakh. On the credit side as well, we will write down 1 lakh. And you can write down the narration as being business started, being business started with cash. This will be the narration of this transaction. Moving on to the next transaction, paid into bank. Paid into bank. So
Sir,
when we
bank
will pay into
account.
the bank, assuming that you have,
Sir, it will be bank account debited to cash account.
bank account debit to cash account. That's right. So
Yeah.
bank account will be debited to cash account. And the amount was 20,000, 20,000. Right?
Yes, sir.
I'm sure that you will be able to write down the narration on your own, being
Yes, sir, we
cash
can.
deposited to the bank. Alright, so I'm skipping that point. I'm not writing down the narration. Moving on to the third transaction, the next transaction. Just a moment. Okay. Then the next transaction have taken place on
3rd of April.
when you buy good for cash, 3rd of April,
Purchase.
on 3rd of April.
Yeah,
That's right.
3rd of April. It will be purchase account to the cash account.
Correct.
No,
Since we are
purchase
buying
account
goods,
data.
since we are buying good and because we are buying goods, so it is an expense. Purchase of goods is an expense, right? And whenever expense
Yes.
increases, we need to debit the expense account. So here the expense account is purchase account. So purchase account will be debited.
So purchase
Purchase
account debited to the cash account.
to cash account, yeah, because we are buying the goods for cash.
Of
And
rupees,
we'll write
the
down the
debit
value.
side and credit side,
Values are 50,000.
50,000.
Yes,
Yeah.
50,000. All right. Then the next item is next transaction will have taken place on April 4. It says that due cash from bank for office use.
So cash account debited to bank account.
Cash account debit to bank account. That's correct.
So
Cash
I'm
account
shocked my everything is correct.
debit to cash account debit to bank account, and the amount is 10,000. Next transaction.
On April of the 13th of April, it will include the Krishna account debited to the Krishna account debited to the sales account of
Correct. That's
the
right. So in the in the next transaction, it says we sold goods to Krishna on credit. So selling of goods is a revenue. Whenever revenue increases, we credit revenue account, right? And but the goods are being sold on credit. So that means one of our debtor will increase, right? Debtor will increase in the by the name of Krishna. So we will go to the journal. We will write it as, just a minute. Krishna account debit to Krishna. Krishna account debit to sales account, right? And the amount is
Of
1500.
rupees 15,000.
15,000.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir, it is
15,000.
1,000, right?
Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. It's 15,000. Okay. Then the next transaction, credit. Bought goods from Sham
Sir,
on credit.
purchase
So if we are buying
accounts.
goods on credit, that means our liability will increase because the
Purchase
creditor is
account.
increasing, and we are since we are buying goods, so that means, tell me, how are we going to treat this?
Purchase account
Mhm.
debited to Shyam account.
Purchase account debit to Sham account, right? Because purchasing of goods is an expense, so whenever expenses increases, we need to debit the expense account. Purchase account will be debited, number one. Then secondly, since our liability is also increasing at the same time, and therefore we will credit the Sham account to Sham account.
Sir, and the rupees for this one will be 22,500.
22,500. Okay. The next transaction was on 24th of April, received from Krishna, allowed him a discount of 500. Okay, so it basically include two
Sir,
transaction. Firstly, we are receiving
cash
amount.
account
See, if you are able to notice, we earlier sold goods to Krishna. We have sold goods to Krishna. Just a minute.
on credit.
Yeah, we earlier sold goods to Krishna on credit. That's right. We sold goods to Krishna for rupees 15,000, and ideally we should receive how much? Received from Krishna 12,500, and we have given him a discount of 500.
500. Yes.
All right. So the general entry for this will be, tell me.
Cash account,
Mm-hmm.
discount allowed account to
Mm-hmm.
Krishna. No,
Okay.
wait, once again. No,
Uh-huh.
sir, cash account debited,
Uh-huh.
discount allowed account also debited, then
Uh-huh.
to Krishna account. And on the
Yes.
debit side will be 12,500, and then lower the down part will be 500, and in the credit side it will be 13,000.
Yes, that's right. But there is a technical error in this question. There is a problem in the question. See, if we have sold goods to Krishna for rupees 1,500, right? So ideally, if we are giving our discount of 500, then he should actually return how much? He should give at least 14,500 instead of 12,500, right? So
Yeah.
this should not be 12,500. Instead, it should be 14,500. Otherwise, it will be a technical error in the question. Because if we have sold goods to Krishna for rupees 15,000, how can we accept 12,500 only and giving a discount of 500? So I'm considering this value as 14,500 instead of 12,500. All right.
So, sir,
So
my answer is wrong.
yeah, your answer is correct as per the question. I'm just correcting the question. All right. I hope it is clear to you. So the general entry for this will be cash account. And you did the correct general entry. There is no problem with the general entry. Cash account will be debited. Since we are allowing our discount, and discount is a loss, whenever loss increases, we need to debit the discount allowed account. Discount allowed account. So
To Krishna
14,500 instead
account.
of 12,500, I'm debiting 14,500, then 500 for discount to Krishna account. Since since the debtor is decreasing, so it will be credited.
Sir, on the credit side, it should not be 13,000.
No, since we have corrected this, instead of 12,500, I've taken
Okay,
it
okay.
14,500. So therefore, it should be 15,000 only.
Okay,
All
sir,
right.
okay.
And what was the date? Date was April 24, right? 24th of April.
Yes.
You guys are writing this now along with me.
Sir, I already wrote it. I'm telling you the answers.
Apart from Labiba, everyone else is writing. If anyone is still having any problem, do let me know so that I can explain it. I'm assuming that you guys have already did it or everybody is able to understand it. If you're having problem understanding anything, please let me know so that I can explain it further. Moving on to the next item. Then
Sir,
20.
the next one is April 28th.
Paid cash to Shyam,
Shyam.
discount receive 1000.
Yes, so it is like Shyam account debited to cash account to discount
Discount.
received account.
Perfect, that's correct. So 28th of April. Shyam account will be debited. Why we are debiting Shyam account? Since the liability is reducing. We are paying Shyam, so our liability is reducing, creditor is reducing, and whenever liability reduces, we need to debit the liability account. So Shyam is a liability, so therefore we are debiting Shyam account. Shyam account debit. And since the asset is decreasing by way of cash. Cash is an asset. So because cash is reducing, and every time cash reduces, we need to credit the cash account, right? And at the same time, Shyam have allowed us a discount of rupees 500. Discount that we receive is an income for us. So discount received is an income. If it is an income, discount received is an income, right? Discount received is an income, so it should be credited. So the total amount should be 21,500. Sorry, 21,500 will be credited. 1,000 will be credited to 22,500. Am I clear? Is this point clear, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Sir, could you explain this again, sir?
This transaction, the 28th April transaction.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So see, what question is saying? Just a minute. Yeah. Question. Transaction on April 28 is saying that we have paid cash to Shyam, and he have given us a discount. Firstly, you need to understand how much are we required to pay Shyam. We have earlier bought good on April 20. We have bought good from Shyam for rupees 22,500 on credit. That means 22,500 is payable to Shyam. We need to pay 22,500 to Shyam. But at the time of payment, Shyam is allowing us a discount of 1,000. So Shyam is saying that Shyam is accepting 21,500 and giving us a discount of 1,000. So instead of 22,500, we just need to pay him 21,500 and he will be giving us a discount. So this is the cash that is going to reduce. Our cash will reduce by 21,500. We will receive a discount. With discount received is an income for us. And our liability, 22,500 is liability, right? Because Sham is our creditor. Is that right? Tell me, liability is going to increase or decrease? The creditors are going to decrease. Creditors will decrease. When we will make payment to Sham, creditor will decrease by 22,500, but the cash that we need to pay to Sham is only 21,500, and discount that we will receive from him will be 1,000. So the journal entry will be, firstly, because the creditor is reducing and creditor is a liability. I've told you there is a rule regarding the creditor which says that whenever creditor reduces, that means whenever liability reduces, we need to debit the liability account. So here liability is Sham. So Sham account will be debited because because one of our liability is reducing by what amount? By 22,500. And since the cash is also reducing cash, we will have to pay cash to Sham of rupees 21,500. So we will credit the cash account as well. By what rule? By the rule of the asset. Rule of asset says whenever asset reduces, you need to credit the asset account. Now, what about the discount that we have received? Discount received as an income, and there is a rule regarding the income which says that all income and gains should be credited. So therefore, discount received should be credited. This way, we will pass the journal entry for the 28th April transaction. I hope this is clear now. Please tell me if it is not, so that I can explain it more. Tell me if it is clear or not.
Sir, it's
So the
clear.
discount should be increased or decreased? Like, what is happening there?
Discount, see, discount received is a kind of income. Discount received is a kind of gain for us. It is a kind of gain. And because our income is in kind of not exactly, it is a kind of income, but we will treat it as an income, or we will treat it as a gain. See, we were actually required to pay 22,500 to Sham, but Sham actually requires 21,500 only. He's saying that he is giving us a discount of 1,000. We are no more required to pay him 1,000. So this is a kind of gain now. Instead of 22,500, we just need to pay him 21,500. So this is what? This is a kind of gain, yes or no? Tell me.
Yes, sir.
1,000 is a gain, yes. And if it is a gain, the rule of gain will be applicable. The rule of gain says, rule of nominal account, if you're able to recall. That rule says whenever income increases or gain increases, you need to credit the gain account. That means we need to credit the discount received account. Discount received account will be credited. Got it? Is it clear now?
Yes, sir.
So what about discount allowed?
Discount allowed is a loss. Now see, we have already covered this on April 24. See, if we are if we are allowing discount, so this is a kind of loss. Allowed discount is a loss for us. And whenever there is a loss, we need to debit the discount account, because we are treating the discount allowed as a loss. And the the rule regarding the nominal account rule says that whenever there is a loss or expense, we need to debit the loss or expense account. This time discount allowed is a loss for us, and therefore we will debit the discount allowed account. Got it? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now April 28 transaction. Krishna returned goods. Earlier we have purchased goods. See, when we purchase
Sales
good,
return.
we pass this transaction, purchase account debit to Krishna. We must have passed this transaction, purchase account debit to Krishna. Now we are returning goods to Krishna. So what should be the journal entry? We will do the opposite entry. At the time of purchasing the good, we must have passed the journal entry, purchase account debit to
Sir.
Krishna.
Sir, will it be like sales return account debited to Krishna account?
Sales return or purchase return to Krishna. I'm sorry. Yeah, Krishna was our customer. Na, yeah, right. I'm sorry. Krishna was our customer, and Krishna is
So
returning goods.
sales return.
Yeah, Krishna is returning good. So that means earlier at the time of sale, we must have passed the journal entry as just a minute.
Sir,
Sold
over
goods.
here it will be sales now because that was
Earlier at the
no
time
in
of
this
sale, we have passed the journal entry, Krishna account debit.
Krishna account debited to sales account.
Correct. But since now on 28th of April, we are returning goods to Krishna. So this time we will write down sales return account debit.
Sales
Yes.
return account debit to Krishna account.
Yes, that's right. Sales return account
By
debit to Krishna account.
2,000.
That's right. Sales return account debit to Krishna account. This will be the correct journal entry. I hope this point is clear, everybody. If anyone has any doubt,
Yes,
please let me
sir.
know. Okay. Now the next transaction, April 30, cash sales for the month. Cash sales. Tell me, what will be the general entry for cash sales? Cash sales is very simple. When you will sell
Sir,
goods on
cash
cash, so cash will
account.
increase. So cash account will be debited.
Cash account debited to Krishna account.
No, why Krishna? We are selling goods for cash. We are not
Oh,
selling goods
sorry,
to
to
Krishna on
sales
credit.
account. To
To
sales
sales
account.
account.
Sorry,
Yes.
I messed up. I thought the previous one.
Okay. Now, moving on to the next item. On 30th of April, we have paid a rent. So just tell me, rent is what? Rent is an income, expense, liability, capital, asset. What is rent?
Expense.
Expense. Now, when you will pay rent, so that means our
It
expenses are
will
increasing, right?
debit
Whenever
and
expense
we will
increases, we
debit
need to
it.
debit the expense account. And at the same time,
Yeah.
since we are paying rent, so our cash must be reducing. Cash must be
Yeah.
reducing, right? So we need to credit the cash account. So that
Credit
means
it.
rent
Yeah.
account debit to cash account. This will be the journal entry.
No, sir, but we can write this one, no, like this one. Rent account debited, salary account debited to cash account. We cannot write it all together.
Yeah, we can do that as well. That is called the combined journal entry. But for the time being, we'll do the journal entry individually for every or for every day differently. So the journal entry for
Okay,
this
so
will be
rent
rent
account
account
debited
debit,
to
since
cash
rent is an
account.
expense. So rent is our expenses are increasing. Rent account debit to cash
To
account.
cash account.
Cash account. Then the next transaction is paid salary. Obviously, paying salary, so the general entry for this will also be similar.
Salary
Sal-
account debited to cash account.
Salary account debit to cash. All right, everybody, is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So this was the homework question that I gave you in the previous class. Now let's move to the next question. If anybody want to take the screenshot, I'm showing you the solution of this question. If anyone want to take the screenshot, they can take the screenshot. So this is the solution for this question. First 4 transactions are generalized like this. First 4 transaction will be generalized like this. 1st of April till April 4.
Sir,
Then
sir, this
next
one.
4 transaction starting from 13 to 28 will be generalized in this format. Creation account debit to sales account, purchase account debit to Sham account, cash account debit, discount allowed account debit to Krishna, Sham account debit to cash to discount received. Then the last 3 transactions will be recorded like this. Sales return account debit to Krishna account, cash account debit to sales account, salary account debit to cash account. I hope this question is clear to everyone. Since this was the
Yes, sir, it's
homework
clear.
question, so I'm presuming
Yes, sir,
that
it's
you
clear.
all of you have already done this question. Now we'll start with our today's question, that is question number 2. Okay, this question is saying transaction of Ramesh of for April are given below, journalize them. So these information are there. On 1st of April, Ramesh have started a business with cash of rupees 1 lakh, then paid for repair of premises 10,000, paid into bank. All the different transactions are there. We need to pass the journal entry. All right, everyone. So let's just quickly start with the journal entry for this question. Just a minute. All right. So let's first of all start with the first transaction. It says Ramesh started business with cash. Anybody want to tell me the correct journal entry for this question? Pratika, you want to try?
Cash account debited to capital account.
Yes, that's right. Cash account debit to capital account. So we'll go to the on 1st of April, the journal entry will be cash account debit to capital account. And the amount was 1 lakh again. All right, coming back to the question. Second item says paid for repairs of premises. Tell me, Vanisha, you want to try this? Just tell me the general entry for the second transaction. Paid for repairs of premises. Quickly. Vanisha. Zainab, you want to try? Journal entry for this. Paid for repairs. Guys, first of all, try to identify the effect of any transaction, right? See, first of all, paid for repairs of premises, you need to identify how it is affecting the any aspect of the business. Firstly, if we are paying for repairs, that means it is going to affect our cash balance, yes or no? Cash is going to get affected, whether cash is going to increase or reduce. Cash will be reduced, right? Number one. Number two, repair, we are paying it for repair. So that means repair is what? Repair is an expense or what? Repairs are expense. Is that right? And if we are paying repair, paying for repair premises of repair, I'm sorry. If we are paying for repair of the premises, that means our expenses are also increasing. Right? Now we will apply the rule. The rule of accounting says that whenever cash reduces, because cash is an asset, right? Cash is an asset. And if asset is reducing, we need to just credit the asset account. That means cash account will be credited. And repair is what? Repair is an expense. Repairs are expense. Whenever expenses are increasing, we need to debit the expense account, right? So the journal entry for this question will be, any idea? The journal entry for this will be repairs account debit.
Repairs account debit to
Tell me. Cash account. That's right. Perfect. Cash account. Repairs account debit to cash account. And the amount was 10,000. 10,000 debit, 10,000 credit. All right. Next transaction, paid into bank. Now, if when we pay into bank, how it is going to affect any item of the business? If we are paying it to the bank, firstly, it will affect the cash balance of the business. Paid into bank, that means cash will reduce, but at the same time, bank will also increase. Is that right?
Yes.
So
Yes,
one asset is reducing, and bank is also an asset. One asset is increasing, one asset is decreasing. So asset that increases need to be debited. Asset that is decreasing need to be credited. So the correct journal entry for this will be,
so will it be like
Bank account debited to
debit
cash
cash
account.
account?
yes, the correct journal entry will be bank account debit to cash account. Bank account debit to cash account. Everyone do this quickly. Pass the journal entry in your notebooks. Bank account debit to cash account, 70,000. Shall we move to the next transaction?
Yes, sir.
Next transaction says loan from bank taken against personal fixed deposit. Tell me, loan from bank taken
Bank account debited to bank loan account.
why is that? Why we will credit the bank loan account?
No, sir. I said bank account debited to bank loan account.
Yeah. See, firstly, we are borrowing. Loan is a borrowing, right? And we are borrowing it from the bank. So that means bank is giving us a loan. So bank loan is what? Bank loan is a liability. Is that right? Bank loan is a liability. Is that correct? And at the same
Yes, sir.
time, whenever bank gives you loan, it transfers the loan amount into the bank account. So the bank account of the business will increase at the same time, but on the other hand, this amount will create a liability upon you by the form of bank loan. So the general entry for this will be, since the bank is increasing, we will do bank account debit, right, to bank loan account.
Loan account.
Bank loan account. You can also simply write it as loan account. I hope this point is clear, everybody. The 25,000 in the
Yes,
credit
sir,
column
it's
itself.
clear.
Yes, sir.
Everybody clear this point?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Quickly note this in your notebooks. Bank account debit to bank loan account. See, guys, if anybody having any problem understanding this concept, please let me know, so that, see, it is the very beginning of the concept, right? If we messed it right here, it will be extremely difficult for you when we will cover the other chapter. So make sure everything that we are covering is clear to all of you. Unless and until it is not clear, don't tell me okay. If you are having a problem, just let me know. I will try to resolve it. Next point
Sir,
is,
can I say the next one?
you want me to explain the
No,
thought.
no, I want to say the answer for the next one.
April 3rd transaction, na, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, just a minute. Bought goods for cash. We have bought goods for cash. So firstly, since we are buying goods, whenever you buy goods, you need to consider
Take
that it is a purchase. Buying of goods is a
Okay.
purchase account. Purchases are increasing, that means purchase are what? Purchase are expenses,
Debit.
is that right? Purchases are
Yes, sir.
expenses. And whenever expenses increase, we need to debit the expense account. Number one. Number two, since we are buying goods for cash, so it is going to reduce the cash. Cash will
Sir, when cash
reduce.
decreases, we
And
have to
because
credit
cash is
it.
an asset, we need to credit the cash account. So the
Credit.
general entry for this will be purchase
Purchase account
account debit.
debited to cash
To
account.
cash account.
Yes, that's right. Purchase account debit to cash account. Amount will be 5,000. Tell me if it is
Sir,
clear
it
or
is
not.
pretty much simple. Like, if you understand only then.
Yeah, it is simple if you have the clarity about the rules of debit and credit, right? Unless and until you have the rules of debit and credit clear, you will have some difficulty understanding the journal entry. So therefore, I have told you in the previous class as well that make sure you revise, keep on revising the previous concept. Anyways, shall we move to the next transaction, everyone? Other than
Yes, sir.
Labiba, everybody is clear? Vanisha, Zainab, Ritika.
Yes, sir.
Vanisha,
Yes, sir.
is everything clear till this point?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Next, the next transaction is April 4 transaction that says drew cash from bank for office use. Now see, when you will withdraw cash, so first of all, cash is going to increase in the business. Now, cash will increase definitely, but you
Then
have
we will
withdrew
debit
this
it.
cash, 22,000, sorry, 1,000 of cash will increase, but at the same time, bank balance of business will reduce by 1,000. Cash is what? Cash is an asset.
That's it.
Bank is what? Bank is also an asset. One asset is
Sir,
decreasing, one asset is increasing. So the asset that increases, we need to debit that asset account. So cash
sir,
account will
it
be
will
debit.
be cash account debited to bank
Debited to
account.
bank account.
Perfect. That's right. Both of you. Cash account debit to bank account. That's right. Please note this in your notebook quickly.
Sir, this narration we have to write for everything, right?
Yeah, ideally you should write the, for the time being, you can skip the narration, you can do it later
No,
for the
no, no.
time
In
being, but
generally,
yeah, but you have
background
to
should be
you have
good.
to
Yeah.
write down the narration for each and every transaction.
Okay, sir.
Okay, next transaction, April 13, bought goods from Shyam. See, whenever the name of the seller is given in the question, Whenever
It is a
in
credit.
any transaction, it says that we have bought good from some particular person. The name of the person is given. That simply means that we are buying goods on credit, right? Whenever the name of the seller is there, it is assumed that we are buying goods on credit, right? So number one, if we are buying goods on credit, so firstly, because we are buying goods, right?
It
We are
would be
buying goods, so
purchased.
that means we are purchasing goods, and purchase of goods are what? Purchase of goods is an expense. So our expenses are increasing. Number one, our expenses are increasing by 22,500. Number one. Number two, at the same time, our liability is also increasing since we have bought these goods for credit, right? We need to pay back this amount later. So this is our liability. So we have bought goods from Shyam. Shyam is our what? Shyam is our creditor, the person who
Creditor.
creditor. That's right. Creditor is a liability. So creditor is increasing, at the same time expenses are also increasing. So
Sir,
whenever
so
expenses
purchase
increases,
account.
debit, creditor increases, also debit, right? That is what the rule says now. So we'll write it as purchase account debit,
To
journal entry
Shyam
will be
account.
correct. Purchase account debit to Shyam account. Everybody, is this point clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Please note this in your notebook quickly. Moving on to the April 13th transaction. Paid for cartridge. Paid for cartridge.
Sir, that is not carriage.
This is
Cartridge. What is
Cart-
cartridge?
cartridge is just a minute. We'll have to see.
Sir, I wrote it like carriage account debited
Carriage
to
is
cash
different.
account.
Carriage is different.
I
Carriage
meant
is
the
a kind of the delivery charges
Carriage,
or
I know.
trans.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is also related to that only. Cartage and the carriage is pretty similar. Cartage is also
so
a
this one
conveyance
is
related.
correct.
It is also a conveyance related expense. It is also a conveyance, a transportation related expense. So both are similar. So see, since cartage is an expense, our
Cartage
expenses are
account
increasing.
debited.
Our
Yeah,
expenses are increasing, right? And we have paid
yeah.
this,
Yeah.
assuming that we must have paid it in cash. So our cash will reduce. So the general entry for this will be
Ca
cartage account.
account
Cartage account
debited
debit.
to
Mhm.
cash
To
account.
cash account.
To cash account. That's right. Perfect. Very good.
So sir, my answer is correct only. I
Yes.
just messed up between carriage and cartage.
Oh, never mind.
They both are almost the same thing, right?
Yeah, both are same. Next is
Okay.
on April 20, sold goods to Krishna. We have sold goods to now. The name of the buyer is written there. We are
It's a
selling goods to
credit
Krishna. If
transaction.
the name of the buyer is there, that means we must have sold goods to Krishna on credit. And whenever we sell goods on credit to any customer, customer is considered to be our debtor. Just like when we buy goods on credit, the person selling goods is a creditor. Similarly, the person to whom we sell goods on credit, that is considered as our debtor. And whenever debtor increases,
Sir, we will
whenever
credit together.
see, firstly, no, we won't credit it. Sold goods, we are selling goods, na? So sales is what? Sales is the expense revenue. Sales is what? It is an expense or a revenue? Tell me quickly. It is a revenue.
Revenue.
So when you sell goods, it will increase your overall revenue first. Number two, since we are selling goods on credit to Krishna, that means our debtor will also increase by the name of Krishna. Our Krishna
Sir,
is our
so is
debtor.
it like
Debtor is increasing, and debtor is what? Debtor is an asset. If you are able to recall this, debtor is an
sir,
asset. Mhm.
will it be like Krishna account debited to sales account?
Yes, that's correct. Krishna account debit to sales account. All right. Why we are debiting
Yes,
Krishna? Because Krishna is our debtor. And why we are crediting sales account? Because sales is our revenue. Whenever revenue increases, we need to credit the revenue account. Whenever debtor increases, we need to debit the debtor account.
debtor account.
All right. sure that this point is also clear. Next point is received from Krishna. Received
Sir,
from
the
Krishna.
cash, right?
Yeah, we must have received from Krishna cash. If question does not mention anything, we will always presume that we are receiving it in cash. So we have sold goods
Okay.
of rupees 15,000 to Krishna earlier, and he is paying us back the entire 15,000 completely. There is no discount given by us to Krishna. So the journal entry for this, when Krishna will pay back the amount. Now see,
So cash account?
Krishna is what? Krishna is our debtor, na, if you are able to recall. Krishna is
Yeah.
our debtor.
Yes,
So
sir.
when Krishna will pay back the amount, there will be no more debtor left. Debtors will reduce, right? Our asset will reduce. And at the same time, since he is paying us the amount, so our cash will increase. Cash is an asset. Now
When
see, we will
asset
apply the rule.
increases, we have
When
to
asset
debit
increases, yes, whenever asset increases, we need to debit the asset account. That means cash account will be debited.
to Krishna
And
account.
yes, that's right, Krishna account. Since Krishna is our debtor and debtor is reducing, so we will credit the Krishna. I hope this point is
And
clear as
after
well.
that, yeah.
Done, everyone?
Sir,
Shall we move to the next
ye-
transaction?
yeah.
Cash account debit to Krishna account.
Yes,
Moving on
sir.
to the 28th of April transaction, paid to Sham by check. Paid to Sham. Now you will you'll have to recall who is Sham. Sham in this question is our creditor. We have
Creditor.
earlier bought goods from
Okay.
Sham. Sham was our creditor, and we are paying the creditor. Creditor is a liability, right? So when you will pay your creditor will reduce, right? So creditor
Yeah.
will reduce. Creditor in by the name of Sham will reduce. There will be no more liability toward Sham, right? Number one. Number two, since we must have paid Sham by way of cash, so ultimately cash will also reduce at the same time. Cash will also reduce, and cash is what? Cash is an asset.
Asset. Asset
Yes,
reduces,
sir.
we have to debit.
Yes. So that means cash account debit. I'm sorry.
No,
Sham
sir, it
account
will
debit.
be Shyam account debited
Yes,
to
yes, yes.
bank account.
Yes, that's right. Sham account debit. I'm sorry.
Cash.
So Sham account debit
To bank account.
to why bank account? We have paid it through check. All right. We paid it through
Yeah.
check, so we will credit the bank account.
Sir,
And
if
amount,
it was not okay.
is it clear, everyone?
Sir, we pay this through
Yes, sir.
check,
It's
right?
clear.
So it
Sorry,
will be
Labiba, could you
bank
please?
only.
Sorry.
I'm sorry, sir, my voice is, I know it is not clear right now because I'm sick. I'm saying that we gave it check, so it will be bank only, right?
Yeah, because when you will issue check, your bank balance will reduce, na? So since our bank is
Yeah.
reducing and bank is an asset, so we need to credit the bank account. All right.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. Moving on to then 30th April transaction, says cash sales for the month. So it's very simple. Since we have sold goods for cash, so sales is a
Cash
revenue.
account.
Sales is a
Yeah.
revenue, and whenever revenue increases, we need to credit the revenue account. Number one. Number two, we have sold goods for cash, so it is going to increase the amount of cash, right? So cash is what? Cash is an
Cash.
asset. So rule regarding the
can-
asset says
we
whenever
have
asset
to
increases,
debit.
we need to debit the asset account. So the
Debit.
general entry for this will be cash account debit,
Cash account debited to sales account.
cash account debit to sales account. That's right. Please note this down. Next transaction, paid to salary. Sorry, paid salary to Ram. Now see, salary is what, everyone?
It is
Salary
a
is an
revenue.
salary is an expense. We are paying
Okay,
salary.
expense.
It is an expense, right?
Okay.
Salary is an expense, and we have paid salary to Ram. That means since the question does not say how do we actually pay it, so we will presume that we must have paid we must have paid Ram's salary in cash. So cash account will be credited. Cash will reduce. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Salary
Yes,
is
sir.
paid, so expense is rising, and cash is reducing. So the general entry for this will be salary account
Cash,
debit to cash account.
salary account debited to cash account.
Salary
Yeah.
account debited to cash account.
Perfect. Very good. Salary account debit to cash account. This will be the general entry. Okay.
Sir, in
Now,
exam, will it be like in this format?
yeah. No, sorry. In this format, what do you mean by in this format?
No, like in exam, the question paper, the questions will come like this, lots of
Yeah,
questions, and then you will have to.
pretty much it will be same. See, the standard of the question will be different, obviously. These are the very basic question of this chapter. Since we have just started this chapter, na, so we will
Yeah.
be covering some difficult question as well. But since it is the uh, starting of this chapter, so we are just covering the very basic questions, very easy questions. So the level of the question will be better in your exam. It will be a little more difficult comparatively. All right.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Now moving on to the last transaction, paid interest on loan from bank on repayment. See, earlier we have just a minute. We have taken a loan on April 2, right? Now we are
Yes.
returning that. We are paying the interest on that loan. We are not returning the loan. We are just paying the interest. So now, first of all, tell me whether we are receiving the interest or paying the interest.
Sir, we're paying the interest.
So because we are paying the interest, so it is an income or an expense.
It
It
will
is an
be an
expense.
expense.
Perfect. And we are paying it against the loan. We are paying it against the loan, right?
Yeah.
So the liability to sorry, we must have paid interest by way of cash, right?
Yeah.
Paid interest on loan
So,
from
in,
bank. Okay. So we must have paid
yeah.
it through bank. So that means our
So interest account
bank
debited
balance will
to
reduce, na?
bank loan account.
Yeah,
No,
expenses
no.
are
Yeah. Yeah.
increasing and bank balance
Yeah.
is reducing. So general entry will be interest on loan account debit to bank account. Interest on loan account debit. Interest on loan account
Sir,
debit.
interest account debited to bank loan account.
No. Interest on
No.
loan account debit to bank account.
Okay.
Interest on loan account debit to bank account.
Sir, can you explain it how? Because I wrote like interest account debited to bank account, bank loan account.
Uh, just a minute. Firstly, since we are paying interest, just a minute, let me check. I think we need to pass two entries in this case. Firstly, the general entry for making the interest due. When interest is due, the general
Yeah.
entry will be different, and when we will actually pay it, the general entry will be different. So first of all, we will have
Yeah.
to pass the the due general entry when the interest is actually due. So general entry for
So it
that
will
is,
be interest account debited to bank loan account.
sorry, could you please repeat?
So I'm saying for the second, this one, for the due bank loan account, that for
Hmm.
that one, the entry would be like interest account debited to bank loan account.
Yes, that's right. Interest account debit to
Debited
bank
to
loan.
bank loan account. And
Hmm.
for the next one, it will be like bank loan account
Mhm.
debited to bank account.
Yes, that's right. So this is the first general entry. And along with this, you also have to write down bank account debit, bank loan account debit to
Bank loan account debit
bank account.
to bank
And in
account.
both
Yeah.
this situation, amount will be 250 here, 250 here, and 250 here, and as well as 250 here. Tell me anyone if this point is not clear, I can explain it again.
Sir, it's clear.
It's clear, everyone? Is it clear?
Sir, can you explain
Yeah.
it
Yes, sir.
again?
Yeah, okay. Let me show you. See, whenever it comes to the payment of interest, we need to pass two entries. Just a minute. Let me explain it on the notepad.
Sir, this 2 entry is the one which you were saying about the compound entry.
Sorry?
Sir, these 2 entries or 3 entries together are the one which you were telling about
No,
the
no, this is not
compound
compound. This is not compound entry. Compound entry is different, where we tend to record 2 or more transactions through one single journal entry. That is compound entry.
Okay.
So interest, when it comes to interest, we need to pass 2 entries. Firstly, to make the interest due, when interest is actually due, when interest gets due, the journal entry will be different. When interest is being paid, when interest is being paid, we need to do the different journal entry. So whenever it says we are paying interest, we need to pass 2 entries. Firstly, for the interest due, the general entry will be interest on loan account debit, or you can simply write it as interest account debit, interest on loan account debit to bank loan account, right? See, interest on loan, why we are debiting interest on loan account? Since our expenses are rising, so therefore we have basically debited the expense account, right? Debited the expense account, and we haven't yet paid this because this is still due, so we have a liability to pay it to the bank. So our liability is increasing, therefore we have credited the liability account. The bank loan account is a liability, so interest account has been debited considering it as an expense, and bank loan has been considered as a liability, therefore we have credited it. But now on the same date we are discharging our liability, so the general entry for this will be bank loan account debit. Whenever liability reduces, we need to debit the liability account. So therefore I have debited the liability account, bank loan account debit to, and the amount is being paid through bank loan account debit to bank. This is the general entry for this class. Got it? Is this clear, everybody?
Yes, sir.
Vanisha, Zainab.
Yes, sir.
All right, everyone. So we did all the transactions. We have done the journal entry for all these transactions. Now we can move to the next question. But since we are already out of time, so I'm giving you homework for the next class. And this one is little difficult, and I'm not sure whether you'll be able to pass the journal entry for all the transactions or not. But I still want you to try all these transactions, right? Kindly take the screenshot of the question.
Sir, is it this one like, in one way you have to do 2 or 3 times? Is it that one?
Sorry,
No,
Lavina.
sir, I'm sorry. I'm saying that like
Uh-huh.
the one which we did in last way, right? Like in one question you have to make 2 different this one. Is it that type of questions?
Yeah. This will be related to something related to that.
Sir, it already looks very complicated.
Just give it a try, na? I'll be helping you. If you're not able to solve it, we will solve it together in the next class. Don't worry, everything seems easy. Just give it a try.
Sir,
But
I
I just
thought that my answer would be wrong for the homework, but it turned out to be correct.
Yeah, well done. You did a
Thank you,
good job.
sir.
All right, so expecting the same from you with this question as well. So kindly take the screenshot. So this is it, guys, everyone. We'll continue from this point onward in the next class. So now all of you can leave the session now. Only the other student who have 9:30 batch will continue. Venisha, Labiba, Ritika, you guys can leave the session. Thank you so much for joining. We'll see you in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Yes. Thank you,
Bye.
sir.
Hi, Prerna, Shifa. Very good evening to both of you. Just okay. Prerna and Shifa, could you please help me remind which topic we were doing in the last class? Which topic we covered in the previous class, previous session?
83
option and you give 84 for homework.
83. Just a minute. All right, so we did question number 83 in the previous class, and I must have given you question number 84 for the homework. Just confirm if you completed this question or not.
Yes, sir, I completed.
You have done it. Okay. All right. Any doubt? Anyone?
No, sir, I got.
No doubt. Okay. So in today's class, we'll start a new topic. Since all of you have done this question and nobody is having any doubt, so I can move to the next topic. And the next topic is the treatment of the revaluation account, or you can simply call it revaluation account. In this topic, we will be covering the formation of the revaluation account. We'll try to understand what is revaluation account, right? Okay. So see, let's start with the first of all. Let's start with the meaning. What is revaluation account? Revaluation account is an account that revaluation account is outlined to determine the net profit or loss on revaluation of the asset and liability, including those items that are unrecorded into books. Revaluation account is also prepared at the time of admission of a new partner, or in case of death of a partner or retirement of a partner. The revaluation of profit or loss is transferred to the capital account of all the partners comprising deceased or retiring partners in the old PSR. Now I'm sure that nobody would have understood anything. So let me explain this in a little detail. Let me show you what actually